Over last 2 decades, no part of European integration has been as transformational as the gradual enlargement of European Union at present. EU expansion has brought democracy to places that have known only authoritarian rule. It transformed a continent with perennial conflict into one of the most prosperous regions in the world. From the very beginning, the number one goal of integration was to reconcile France and Germany, which had fought 3 wars in less than a century. To do this, the 2 countries merged their steel and coal industries in July 1952. The symbols and essence of power in those days. In following years, multiple European states continued to combine their economies in various ways, creating the institutions that eventually became EU. Each wave of expansion had a different purpose. After dictatorships of Greece, Portugal, and Spain fell in the mid-1970s, these countries joined enterprise in a successful effort to stabilize their fragile democracies. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the bloc naturally accepted Europe's previously neutral countries, Austria, Finland and Sweden. Over next decade, it welcomed former Warsaw Pact countries of Europe and Baltics, as well as parts of Balkans. Round after round, many analysts feared that expanding the bloc would dilute it. However, these concerns never went away. Instead, growth went hand in hand with deepening ties and connections. Initially, for example, decisions of the entire bloc had to be taken unanimously, which prevented collective action. But when EU launched integrated single market in 1993, it began to make most of its decisions with a supersize in many of different ministerial councils. Of course, there is a codecision mechanism with European Parliament on all legal matters. There are also important areas where decisions, especially on foreign affairs, still need to be taken by consensus. And there are large areas where policymaking still belongs to different member states. But today the EU has more power within its members than ever before. However, there were setbacks during the expansion process. The UK played key role in integrating bloc for half a century until the explosion of populism. Vast majority of Britons decided to leave. Turkey began accession negotiations in 2005. But setbacks in its democratic development and ongoing disputes over Cyprus have continually delayed its application. The biggest setback involves countries in the Western Balkans. At a summit Greece in 2003, every Balkan state was promised membership. But since then only Croatia managed to enter 2013. Other Balkan countries stalled due to bilateral disagreements and reluctance to reform. Today, the EU enlargement process in the region has lost both momentum and credibility. EU leaders continue to pay lip service to the idea of accepting Western Balkan countries and continue to publish reports and hold meetings about their participation. But no sense was really made. In fact, in 2019,